we must change. And I will go first. As we look at our world and our lives, we know that we have to change in order to accomplish something. And sometimes that becomes really difficult and challenging, but there's a reason for that. It's because the world changes as well. Today is January 29th, and it's a really powerful day. There is a new moon happening, and energetically, it's affecting all of us. And so I had a channeling session and listened to it afterwards, and I thought, I have to change. When I do a channeling session, I go into a different dimension and I'm able to access information. And that was something that was uncomfortable for me in the beginning. It's all in there because I put it out there that I didn't want to do it. Because I knew that that could bring up some sort of judgment or whatever because it was so different. I hadn't seen anybody to do something like I had. And but I can't hide it because you can't hide who you are. The thing that we are meant to do is become our authentic selves, and that's going to change as you live. And if you keep going with it, that's when you live the best life. And it could change at any point. I'm 74 years old and I'm changing because what I heard was that I have so much more that I can complete and do while I'm still on this earth, and that's what I'm going to do. I realize that there's no question that I can't answer for someone, not me, but from the information that I received. And that's what I wanted to explain. I received all the information. That's what turned into a philosophy. That's what turned into a program. Because you come to understand that the only thing that is standing in your way of you living the life you're supposed to have is in your thoughts, in your consciousness, some programming that's been there, something that's gone on, but it's also the same thing in our world. And there are very definite times where we will move through evolutionary changes, which we're doing right now. And a lot of that came through in the channeling session today. So I'd love for you to listen to that. But what I'm doing now is that I'm going to be doing so much more and giving you guys so much more information because we're going to keep moving through these changes. And the changes are you deciding how valuable you are. You deciding how much worth you have to bring to this world. Because see, the evolutionary change that we're happening now is really about that decision. Are you worthy? Is this person worthy? Is this group of people? It's all of that. But the only place where it matters is you. And so what I did for all of these years is I wrote and sat down and put together and self-development, improvement, self-growth, whatever you want to call it, but I also call it ascension because I also know, as Wilhelm said in the channeling session today, every soul is born with a purpose. Yeah, we don't live forever, so when are we going to own it and do what's there? So that's what I'm doing. My story is so incredibly bizarre that I know no one would believe it, and that's the only difficulty that we have is belief. When something comes into the world like what I've done, it was challenging for me to say, wait a minute, I heal all of this stuff from the information that I received from Wilhelm healed me? Yeah, it did. And then the only frustrating thing was seeing other people, because I love seeing people understand who they are, what they can accomplish. So that was my frustration. This came through in the channeling session a couple of years ago, where I knew that I had everybody's answer. They had given me an answer to your difficulty, whatever might be in your life. And I know that's true because I experienced so many of them myself. And that's how I got through it. And so what happened is, and you will see this, if you go to my, look at the description on my YouTube channel, you will see that there's several different days that they would have me put together messages, string of messages. And when you go through them, your brain changes. You start to understand more about yourself. That's how we become our authentic selves. That's how we evolve, individually and also collectively. There's no reason for us to see all the kind of conflict and anger and things going on in our world, except too many of us have not understood who we were. That's all that's happening, and it's gone on for generations. But this was the generation that we were meant to change that, and that was the work that I was given. I didn't know that at the time. You don't know what you have either. There's an organization, and this is what you'll start to understand. There are energetic changes that happen. as we come into the physical world, that's all. We can think of our bodies and all that, but everything is energy. And when we understand that we are using it and know how to use it, we can create the lives we want to have, and then we start to do something very different in the world. But that's what I wanted to tell you today, because today, the energy of this day could give you a lot of momentum to start creating the life you want to have. And I did a little research. I'll put that in this description so you can look at that, because there are times in the world you don't even have to understand astrology. It's just energetic changes of the planets and galaxy and all of that. And somehow we're affected emotionally. There's more study that's been going on about that, and I'm doing a lot of it myself, because I know that that is something accurate that we can start to come to understand. Just like we did with astrology or Akashic Records reading or something like that. It turns out that that's what I was downloading. That's what I was putting together. And when you go in there, and I hope you do this, is to look at, just pick up any one of the groups of messages. I call it a mini library, and go through it. And just take some time and be with yourself. You will open up to understanding. The only difficulty you have in your life is that self-acceptance. That's the only time you become afraid. That's the only time you don't have confidence, that you don't feel empowered. And it's also the only time that you will move into lack, because you haven't understood who you were, or you couldn't let it out. And I can say that because I've done it so much. Because the thing that I was really meant to do was to bring this work in. All the other stuff was fun. I've done so many other careers. But this is going to be the one that will help change the world. And to say that seems so outrageous, but I know that it's true. Because see, if we have more people who understand their worth and value and are having valuable careers and meaningful life purpose, we wouldn't have difficulties in the world. We wouldn't go through the stuff that we're doing, and we also wouldn't allow ourselves to be controlled by those who can control us, because it's all in consciousness. But because we've allowed ourselves as civilization to be controlled by so many different groups, this particular time could be extremely challenging. But the only person who matters in your life, the person who matters in your life the most, is you. Because when you can do that, then you can give to everyone else. So please enjoy these little gifts I'm giving you, this video, and I'll have a link to the channeling session that was just held today, so you should have it. But this could be the very best time in your life. And please check out the descriptions again in the video, because I put a little work in. I did some research. I want you to understand the science of how you grow and how you evolve and how the world changes. Thank you for being here. If it's your first time, please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you soon. Thanks.